There is a silent burden many people carry. It is not visible on the surface. It does not show in photographs. But it weighs heavily on the mind. It is the burden of constantly explaining yourself. Explaining why you chose this path. Explaining why you ended that relationship. Explaining why you are no longer the same person. And over time, you begin to feel drained. Not because you are wrong, but because you are trying to convince everyone that you are right. Stoicism teaches something liberating. Your life is not a performance. You are not required to provide a detailed explanation for every decision you make. Most people are not asking to understand you. They are measuring you against their own fears, limitations, and expectations. When you realize this, something shifts inside you. You stop defending your growth. You stop apologizing for your evolution. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that other people's opinions are beyond our control. You can act with integrity. You can live with discipline. But you cannot force understanding. And trying to force it only steals your peace. The first lesson is simple but powerful. Stop seeking permission to grow. When you explain yourself excessively, you are unconsciously asking others to validate your decisions. But growth does not require a vote. It requires courage. The moment you stop waiting for approval is the moment you step into authority. Many people remain stuck because they fear being misunderstood. They fear disappointing family. They fear criticism from friends. They fear being labeled selfish. But Stoicism teaches that discomfort is not danger. Criticism is not catastrophe. Being misunderstood is not the end of the world. It is often the beginning of independence. The second lesson is emotional discipline. When someone questions your life choices, observe your reaction. Do you feel anger, anxiety, the urge to over-explain? That reaction is where your power is leaking. The Stoic practice is to pause, to examine the feeling before responding. You do not have to defend yourself instantly. Silence is often the strongest response. If this message resonates with you, take a moment right now to subscribe to this channel. This is where we build mental strength, clarity, and self-mastery. Like the video and comment. I choose strength, so I know you are committed to growth. The third lesson is understanding what belongs to you. The philosopher Epictetus taught that some things are within our control, and others are not. Your character is yours. Your effort is yours. Your integrity is yours. But your reputation, that belongs to other people. The image they create of you exists in their mind, not in your hands. When you try to manage everyone's perception, you enter a battle you cannot win. There is deep freedom in letting people think what they want. It may feel uncomfortable at first. Your ego may resist. But over time, you realize that being misunderstood does not reduce your worth. It simply reveals that not everyone is meant to walk your path with you. The fourth lesson is detachment from validation. Modern culture rewards exposure and explanation. Everyone feels pressured to justify the decisions publicly. But Stoicism values inner alignment over public approval. True confidence is quiet. It does not argue. It does not chase applause. It stands firm even when the room is silent. When you constantly explain yourself, you signal uncertainty. When you speak briefly and move consistently, you signal conviction. Conviction changes how people treat you. Not because you demanded respect, but because you demonstrated self-respect. The fifth lesson is conserving your energy. Every unnecessary explanation drains mental focus. Every debate about your life direction distracts you from progress. Imagine redirecting that energy toward mastery, toward discipline, toward building something meaningful. Silence preserves strength. There will be moments when people misunderstand your boundaries. They may call you distant because you no longer tolerate disrespect. They may call you arrogant because you no longer beg for approval. But growth often looks offensive to those committed to comfort. If you are gaining value here, subscribe and stay connected. This channel exists for individuals who refuse to live small. Share this message with someone who needs courage today. The sixth lesson is embracing solitude. When you stop explaining yourself, some relationships will change. Some people were attached to the version of you that was easier to control. When you become firm, you expose fragile dynamics. Do not fear this. Solitude is not emptiness. It is space for clarity. The Stoic thinker Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Often, we imagine rejection to be catastrophic. But when it actually happens, we discover something surprising. We survive, and sometimes we even thrive. The seventh lesson is self-examination. Instead of explaining yourself to everyone else, explain yourself to yourself. Why did you choose this path? What values guide your decisions? When your choices are rooted in principle, you do not feel shaken by disagreement. You may listen. You may consider feedback, but you do not collapse under it when you are internally clear. External noise loses volume. The need to defend yourself fades because you are no longer confused about who you are. The eighth lesson is mastering your words. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every accusation deserves clarification. Sometimes the most powerful statement is a calm smile and continued action. Results speak louder than arguments. Discipline speaks louder than debates. Over time, consistency silences critics. Not because you defeated them verbally, but because your life became proof. The ninth lesson is accepting that you will not be universally liked. And that is not a failure. It is a sign that you are living authentically. If everyone agrees with you, you are likely adjusting yourself to fit expectations. A strong identity naturally creates contrast. The 10th lesson is reclaiming authority over your narrative. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop handing others the pen to write your story. You define yourself through action, through resilience, through quiet discipline. Imagine walking into a room without the urge to impress. Imagine making decisions without rehearsing explanations in your mind. Imagine choosing peace over persuasion. That is power. That is freedom. Right now, decide something. Decide that you will no longer shrink your dreams to avoid criticism. Decide that you will no longer apologize for evolving. Decide that your energy is too valuable to waste on convincing people who are committed to misunderstanding you. If this video has strengthened your mindset, subscribe and join this growing community of disciplined thinkers. Like the video so more people can discover these lessons. And comment below, "I owe no explanations," to declare your independence. The day you stop explaining your life is the day you start living it fully. You become calmer, more focused, less reactive. You move with intention rather than insecurity. Remember this: you are responsible for your character, not for everyone's comfort. Live well, act with integrity, let your results speak, and above all, protect your peace.